Namaskar. Today we would discuss various aspects of question hour in Parliament. You must have heard about start questions, unstart questions, short notice questions, private members questions, uh, like that in Parliament. We would discuss each one of these questions, how these questions are asked, how these are admitted, what are the conditions of admissibility, and what are the supplementary questions, and how the ministers are answering these questions, and how the ministries are divided to answer these questions, and what is the importance of question hour in a parliamentary system of democracy. And finally, what will happen if the question hour is disrupted, and what will happen to the answers of these questions. All these things are explained in this video. The question hour forms the most interesting part of parliamentary proceedings, and during the parliament session, almost 425 subjects of national and public importance are discussed during question hour. That is why all the MPs may be present in both the houses of parliament, and the entire media people will also be present. The public galleries will be full, means jam packed. Public means the people who are visitors to the parliament house during the question hour. All the ministers may also be present during the question hour. So it is a very important procedure in parliament democracy. The media people who are present, they are very attentive, and they will report in TV and newspapers on all the important answers given by the ministers. In fact, it is during this question hour that the efficiency of the ministers are tested on the floor of the house. The how they are managing the question, how the supplementaries are managed, how informative they are. All these things are visible during the question hour. The timing of the question hour is 11 a.m. to 12 noon in Lok Sabha, and in Rajya Sabha it is 12 noon to 1 p.m. during the session period. In fact, a parliamentary question is a technique of parliamentary surveillance, we can call it as surveillance over administration and the government. The government is answerable for all its acts of omissions and commissions to parliament, and through parliament to the people. Members of parliament are free to ask questions to elicit information on any matters of public importance from the ministers of government of India, and the ministers are bound to reply to those questions. And there are four categories of questions, and the first one is start question, means the minister is supposed to answer on the floor of the house verbally. Oral answer should be given on the floor of the house. That is a start question, and following the answers there may be supplementary questions also. Then unstart question means written answers may be given. There are no supplementaries. Then there are short notice question, means in case of urgent public importance, the MPs can ask questions with short notice. Usually there is a 15 days notice period is there. If in case of urgent public importance, it can be at short notice, less than 15 days notice. But only condition is that the minister should agree for that. And in fact, the entire process of question, it is based on various rules and rules. In case it is governed by Rule 38 to 59 of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business in Rajya Sabha, and Rule 32 to 54 of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business in Lok Sabha. MPs have to give prior notice to the minister of their intention to ask questions on particular subjects of national importance. Then only the minister can collect authentic information on the subject and answer it on the floor of the house. As per rules, 15 days notice, I told you the notice period is required during the session period to ask the question. The test of the question may be forwarded to Secretary General by the concerned MP, And nowadays, in fact, the MPs can use the online platform, digital census, to submit their questions. In Rajya Sabha, questions are received from the MPs only through the online platform. In Lok Sabha also, almost 85% of the questions are received through online platform, and some 15% we can say in physical form also received in Lok Sabha. During the session period, an average of 650 questions are received in Rajya Sabha daily, and an average of 1,500 questions are received daily in Lok Sabha from the MPs of the respective houses. Since the questions raised are on public importance and on serious matters, every question is thoroughly scrutinized before it is admitted. Specific rules and laid down norms are there to decide the admissibility of these questions. Honorable Chairman Rajya Sabha and Honorable Speaker Lok Sabha are the respective authorities to decide the admissibility of the questions. Rule 47 of the Rajya Sabha rules and Rule 41 of the Lok Sabha rules in general decides the admissibility of the questions. In addition, we can say there are various directions of the Honorable Speaker and the Honorable Chairman to decide the admissibility. As per the rules and directions, we can say that there are about 25 conditions and norms to decide the admissibility. And there are some of the conditions I can mention for you. That is, the first condition is that it should be on a matter of public importance. Then comes the question should be clearly and precisely expressed. There should not be any arguments. It should not contain any arguments, inferences, or defamatory statements. And there should not be hypothetical propositions. And the main thing is that the question should be on a subject which is primarily the concern of Government of India. That means it should be from the union list or the concurrent list. And in case of question which is already answered on the floor of the House, it is not permitted to repeat the question. That is also there as a condition. The question it should not be on trivial matters, silly matters, and confidential matters and secret matters. These things are not can be questions through a parliament question. And in case of sub judice matter, if a particular matter is pending in a court of law, that cannot be asked as a question in the parliament. Then there is the question must not refer discourteously to a friendly foreign country. And these are some of the conditions for admissibility of the deciding the admissibility of the question. Another important aspect is that the maximum words allowed in a Rajya Sabha question is 100 words. If it is more than 100 words, that will be rejected. In case of Lok Sabha, maximum of 150 words are permitted in a question. Otherwise, it will be rejected. Total number of start question for a day in Lok Sabha is 20, and in Rajya Sabha it is 15. In case of unstart questions, 230 questions are permitted in Lok Sabha, and in Rajya Sabha 160 questions are permitted. Thus, a total of 425 subjects of national importance are dealt in a sitting of Parliament. Only one start question, that is for oral answer, is permitted for a member per day, means per sitting during the session period. Then how these ministries are decided? We know that there are 53 ministries in Government of India, 2 departments, that means Department of Space and Atomic Energy. Then the Prime Minister's Office, that means total of 56 ministries and departments are there. Questions can be asked on the functioning of Prime Minister's Office also. All these 56 ministries are grouped and divided into 5 for answering during the 5 days. That means Monday to Friday. On each day, there is an average of 11 ministries, we can say that, from Monday to Friday. In Rajya Sabha, from Monday to Friday, these groups are called Group 1 to Group 5. And in Lok Sabha, these groups are called Group A to E. That is the classification. In fact, a date-wise calendar of sittings along with the names of ministers ministries, in fact, say, which are supposed to answer the questions on each day during the session period are prepared and published at the beginning of each session of Parliament for information of the MPs and ministers and the ministries concerned. Thus, fixed days have been allotted to the ministries for answering questions. I said that there are a large number of questions are received, but how we will decide the 20 questions or the 15 questions for starred category and the 160 for the unstarred and 230 for the unstarred in Lok Sabha. So the priority of the MPs to ask questions are decided on the basis of computerized draw of lots. And once the draw of lots decide 20 names or 160 names, the remaining questions are kept aside, even though these are admissible. Then the ministries are supplied with the list. All the lists are prepared after the draw of lots, along with the names of the MPs and the ministries, as well as the text of the question. The ministries are supplied with the list of finally admitted questions, both starred and unstarred, at least 5 days before the date fixed for asking and answering the questions, mainly to enable the ministers to prepare the answers and collect the information from the concerned officers. And during the question hour, Honorable Chairman Rajya Sabha and Honorable Speaker in Lok Sabha called the member who has got the first priority to ask the question. The MP concerned rise in his place and ask his question just by reading its serial number in the list of questions and not the text of the question as such. And the concerned minister answers the questions. The member who asked the question can ask 2 more supplementaries to get more clarity on the answer given by the minister. In Rajya Sabha, in fact, 3 more members are permitted to ask supplementary questions. In Lok Sabha also, a few more supplementaries are permitted by the speaker. An average of, say, this is question hour is for 1 hour, and once the question is answers are given and the supplementaries are over, it will be chronologically it will go. An average of 5 to 8 questions are orally answered out of the 15 questions or the 20 questions of the starred list, and within 1 hour allotted every day. Answers for remaining questions are treated as laid on the table of the House by the ministers concerned. Likewise, for written answers also, that means the unstarred questions also, the answers are laid on the table at the end of the question hour. But there are instances that all the 15 questions and all the 20 questions were answered during the House, during the 1 hour period. Then I said about the short notice questions. Questions on matters of urgent public importance are permitted for at short notice, that is less than 15 days notice period. The minister concerned is asked whether he is in a position to answer the question at short notice. The question is listed only when the minister agrees. If he agrees, one such question will be permitted at the end of the question hour. Then the question to private members. A question may be addressed to a private member provided the subject matter of the question relates to some bill, resolution, or any other matter concerned with the business of the House for which that particular member is responsible. But in recent times, there are no instances of such private member questions in either House of Parliament. Then suppose in case of interruptions, what will happen to the questions and the answers? The questions are not taken up for answer orally, owing to uproarious scenes and continuous interruptions on some of the days. All the starred questions listed for the day are treated as unstarred, and their answers together with the answers of other listed unstarred questions are uploaded on the website after the question hour is, or the time of the question hour is over. When the question hour is suspended after some questions have been orally answered, all the remaining start questions are treated as unstart, and their answers together with the answers to the unstart questions are uploaded on the website. If there is no question hour owing to cancellation of sitting or if adjourned without transacting any business, answers will be laid during the next day. If the last day of the sitting of a session is cancelled, the questions and the answers for that day shall lapse. There is another feature in the parliament questions, that is, a member who has given notice for a question can withdraw the question. He has a choice of withdrawing the question before the commencement of the sitting. That's all about the question hour in parliament. Thank you for watching. Jai Hind.